the authors of this paper and abstract, most of them are here today, and I'm representing Dr. Peter Drobac, our Executive Director. They come from the University of Global Health Equity, Partners in Health, the Division of Health Equity at Harvard Medical School, and of course the Cummings School of Veterinary Medicine at Tufts University. So why do we need a University of Global Health Equity? And for this, I want us all to think beyond Rwanda. So we know that in Africa there is a huge gap in human resources for health, and this university aims to resolve that. We also know that much of our professional healthcare training programs do not equip graduates with the tools they need to be successful leaders. So the programs we have are strong for the most part, but they could do a better job preparing students for healthcare delivery, equity, and of course, universally including One Health. The university will be sort of a new paradigm in this space, so merging the health science education with One Health, with delivery, and with equity. Someone, my friend James last night was asking, what is equity? What does that mean? In this case, it's preferential treatment for the poor. So it's an affirmative stance on equity. So the university will be this global space for delivery-focused teaching. So in our last presentation, we heard about how we need to get out of the classroom, how we have to do things with mentors, experiential learning. All of those things are key delivery components to the university. And finally, we are a venue for research, clinical care, and implementation. So I'll talk about all those things, but the thrust of my presentation is really on the education and training space. Why Rwanda? Why is Rwanda a good home for this university? So it's probably no surprise when I say some of these things. There is a high commitment in Rwanda, as we all know, to health and education, which is critical to any project, but especially the success of a private university. So we have a decade-long partnership through our founding NGO, Partners in Health, with the government of Rwanda, and that has set us up for success in the country and beyond. Partners in Health works in many different places. In Rwanda, there's a national commitment to innovation, as well as a very supportive policy and regulatory environment. So again, for those of you involved in universities in the region and beyond, those things are critical. It's a safe place, it's accessible, and it's highly connected, so the ICT infrastructure is great. And there's a strong existing infrastructure, so roads, utilities, as well as a commitment from the government to new infrastructure. So as we're building our campuses, the government is our largest donor in terms of in-kind support. So building roads to get to the campus, improving the infrastructure access, electricity, water, things that are really critical to having a university home in the country of Rwanda. These are our partners. I've mentioned most of them already. Our academic approach is different. So the focus is on this delivery, this equity, and sort of changing the way traditional health science education has been delivered. So we heard just recently about this sort of rote teaching style, memorization. That is not at all at the foundation of this university. There are, of course, examinations and other more traditional things, but this is an experiential-based model. So case studies, students conducting practicum projects, working with mentors, working in small teams, flipped classrooms, all of these innovative teaching approaches that make students poised for delivery. So this concept of getting out of the classroom is very central to the model. We're starting with our Master of Science in Global Health Delivery, and that program is a cornerstone of all of our other health science programs. So every student graduating from the university will receive training in this global health delivery science. So dual master's degrees will be offered. We will do veterinary training, medicine, nursing, dentistry, doctoral studies, and all of those degree programs will have this stamp of global health delivery. Finally, we'll have a very robust research agenda. We just opened in September, so that is only just begun. And we will also open executive style education. So our first executive style education short course will likely be coming up this January, but we expect to roll those out, again, with this unique delivery model for individuals, groups who'd like to come to the university and train for a short time on these concepts. Our campuses, which I mentioned when I was discussing infrastructure, we're right now using some shared space that is in Kigali and also in the far western part of the country that PIH uses. However, we're building 2 campuses. So give me another 3 years and I'll be able to show you pictures of a very large state-of-the-art campus up in the north in Butaro. Partners in Health already has a large hospital facility there, so it'll be very close to the hospital for obvious reasons. It's a health science university. And next we'll have a peri-urban, an urban campus that's in Masaka, which is quite close to the Kigali. So we think with these 2 campuses, one being in an urban space, one being sort of in a rural space, students, trainees, faculty, research can be conducted sort of from both perspectives. I mentioned our first class started in September. We're quite excited. We have 26 students. They come from the public sector, so folks in the health sector, folks in other areas of the Rwandan government, diverse NGO representation, so UNICEF, USAID, the Clinton Health Access Initiative, they've all sent students to the masters. Some in the private sector. We have the Wednesday night class and the weekend session once a month, so everyone in our program is working full-time, which we think really lends itself nicely to a very dynamic, you go, you do your work, you practice delivery science, you come to school, you refine it, you do projects. So that intersection with the workplace is really, really critical. And finally, our faculty come from Rwanda, so some are at the Ministry of Health. In fact, the Honorable Minister of Health is one of our founding faculty members. We also have faculty coming from Harvard University, Partners in Health sites. Dr. Helen, she's over here, she's one of our faculty members from Tufts University, representing strongly the One Health component. So what is unique besides delivery and equity when it comes to the university? The curriculum is adopted from Harvard, so I mentioned this case study model. These are actually global health delivery cases that are technically health related but developed by Harvard Business School. So they have this very unique, putting the student as the problem solver, having the student figure out how to solve a delivery problem. So these are cases like you'd read in any business school, really well written, really strong, and they're a foundation of our Principles of Global Health class. We also provide a lot of professional development opportunities. So curricularly, students study leadership and management, but in addition to that, there are numerous mentorship opportunities. The second year of the program is very dedicated to a practicum project that's carried out at the workplace. So given that project, students are learning how to put into practice what they are doing in the classroom, and the project is at their workplace. So the idea is it's something that the employer has identified as a real need that can be responded to by a student who's now learned sort of principles of global health delivery and equity. As I mentioned, this One Health focus. So in partnership with Tufts University and others, we are developing a core curriculum to be infused in the master's program and then beyond in all of the other health science degrees that focuses on One Health. So we started this fall with a great weekend taught by Dr. Helen on One Health, and we'll continue to have students involved in One Health education throughout, so when they graduate, they have these core competencies. I think this is really unique in terms of interdisciplinarity. So normally you'd have a team and it would have a One Health expert or 2, and it would have a delivery science expert or 2, maybe someone focused on equity and preferential treatment for the poor, and those 3 individuals would hypothetically solve a problem, respond to a policy question, undertake research, teach a course. While I think that's a good model, I think the model is even stronger when one individual is diversely trained in equity, in delivery, and in One Health. So that one individual can fluently represent those perspectives and serve on interdisciplinary teams going forward. Lastly, how to collaborate with UGHE. So as I've mentioned, we're a new university. As a result, we have strong partners, which we're looking to deepen, but we also would like to partner with new institutions. And so as a result, I would encourage, if you have students, colleagues in Rwanda, to apply for our first master's program. I brought some flyers, I have my cards, you're welcome to take those to learn more, have conversations with me. Additionally, of course, at the university level, discussing academic partnerships. So whether it's around training, curriculum development, research, capacity building, we're very open to discussing all of those. And finally, I mentioned the professional development. So we have a convening space, whether it's for a future Oshea conference, some other needs that you may have in the region. We will have the campus opened in about 3 years. It will be sort of a full-fledged university community that you're picturing. And that space will be available for our degree programs. It will be available for professional education, but it'll also be available for folks who would like to host their own events there. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, Sarah, your position is a promoter or you are?
My position?
Yeah.
Yes. I work on the academic side, overseeing academics for the university. So most specifically right now, I'm directing our master's program and developing other initiatives on the academic side of the house.